Hello everybody, welcome to our Asian Inspirations Culinary Hub. Today we're cooking something really delicious. It's one of my favorites and it's called Bun Thit Nuong. So firstly what we're going to do is we're going to organize the marinade for the pork. What I'll do firstly, we need some lemongrass, okay? If you've not used lemongrass before, this is something, it's like a stalk and it's very full of flavors. So what we do is we take off the top bit here, okay? And I like to just use the whole thing. So I'm gonna score it through like so. So we're just gonna quickly mince up some lemongrass for our marinade. And to that, we're gonna chop up a couple of shallots. I normally peel off the first layer of the thickness, just in case there's any mold or anything attached to it. And then to finally chop your shallot, score it through the whole lengthways, okay, and just finally chop it. So I'm just gonna chop up a couple more cloves of garlic. So I just basically crush the garlic to remove the skin, just finally chop it. So we're going to add a bit of sweet soy in there. I'm going to add fish sauce for salt, then sugar, of course spring onion for color as well, but also it's got a different kind of flavor. We'll just chop some of that in there as well, finely chop them. So I'll put this aside for now. Okay, now with the pork we got a very tender type of pork, the pork loin already. But for me, I like to actually put some grooves in there to basically, and also as a way of tenderizing the pork as well. I like to basically give it a few bashes along the way. Okay, that creates the groove in there, but also helps the marinade to penetrate into the pork. And we're going to marinate that for probably about 20 minutes. So I've got water boiling, and all I'm doing is I'm actually pouring boiling water, okay, into my noodles. And I'm just going to let it sit for 3 minutes in the water. Now, if you cook it for too long, the noodle is going to be mushy. Okay, so just stir that through and let that sit for about 3 minutes. While we're waiting for that 3 minutes to come through, that's going to give me a bit of time to peel my carrots to get the pickles ready. And you julienne your carrots, moving your blade back and forth like a guillotine, okay? That's what you get. And we cut, again, very thin slices down. Make sure your knife is nice and sharp. Just remove our noodles here from the water straight away. You can see how fine it is, how soft it is now. So that's totally cooked. What we'll do is we're gonna add salt, sugar, and vinegar. And I'm just going to mix that through and let it sit there while we cook our pork. And I'll pop my pork on there. You'll hear it sizzling away straight away. Now the pork, I've got my butcher to cut it, direct fresh to cut it so thin that it doesn't need to cook for a long time. Okay, so you probably need to do it for a minute and a half or so on each side, and it's done. So our cooking is basically done. We've got the noodles that's already prepared. Now we just need to put the salads together, and then we are ready for service. I'm going to make this dressing with garlic, coriander root, a bit of chilies as well. I've got a bit of chili, a bit of coriander root, and I've got a bit of garlic chopped up. Put that in my mortar. So using the same measuring instrument that you use, 4 tablespoons of sugar. And the reason why I put the sugar in there is to hold onto all the chilies and all that, and then to grind them up. Grab another lemon and just loosen it up slightly to make the squeezing easier. So we've got the sweetness, we've got the sourness, and now we need the saltiness. Okay, so we're going to put about 6 tablespoons of fish sauce in there as well. Now I just need a bit of water to dilute it. So I put about 6 to 7 tablespoons of water, and so that is my master sauce. So when you go to a restaurant to order Bun Thit Nuong, they give you a bulk of noodles. And to that, I'm actually going to put, so you dress it the way you like it, but I'm just going to play with it and be a bit fanciful. So I'm slicing I'm actually cutting my cucumber. Again, you notice how I like to cut everything at an angle. Okay, now what do I need? I need, of course, herbs and all the herbs that I've got here. So I've got beautiful coriander. I've got Vietnamese mint, so I'm going to put a bit of that in there as well. Okay, so I'm going to pick a few of those normal mint leaves as well. And I've got, of course, basil. Now basil goes amazingly. It ties up everything as well. I love basil. And I think I've got a bit of everything. And I'm just going to give it a couple of chops through. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up my pork. This is cooler now. And I'm just going to slice it. And I'm going to place it onto my noodles. And so then we put the herbs there as well. Okay, sprinkle a bit of that on there. I'm going to sprinkle a bit of that fried shallots there as well. So we're going to actually jazz it up a little bit more with a bit of bean shoots over here. I've got a bit of space here. We then drizzle it with the sauce. Okay, the dressing. So just a couple of tablespoons of that there. So this is our take of Bun Thit Nuong. If you like this, check out our Asian Inspirations social media platform for the recipe. And before we go, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Direct Fresh, and of course, all our other sponsors that are part of this episode. Thank you guys. See you next time.